It is important you know which type of tenancy you have, as this can affect your rights as a tenant and the way that the landlord can end your tenancy. If you are unsure which type of tenancy you have, you can look at your tenancy agreement, ask your landlord, or speak to your local Citizens Advice Bureau. You can also use the Shelter Tenancy Checker, which you can find on the Shelter website, linked in the video description. The types of tenancy you have depends on whether you are in social or private housing. The way the landlord can end your tenancy is different for each type of tenancy. If renting from a private landlord, you will usually have an assured short hold. This means the landlord cannot give you notice within the first 4 months of your tenancy, and if they do, they must have grounds to give you a Section 21 notice and use a Form 6A to serve the notice. A landlord cannot serve you a notice unless they have previously provided you with a copy of the Energy Performance Certificate and Gas Safety Certificate for the property in question. If you paid a tenancy deposit to your landlord must have protected your deposit in a government-approved deposit protection scheme. Your landlord must also have provided you with certain prescribed information regarding the protection of your deposit. The government provide a very useful how to rent guide at www.gov.uk, linked in the video description. Although less common, you may have an assured tenancy. You have the right to remain in the property unless the landlord can prove to the court they have grounds for possession. They must serve you a Section 8 notice, which is usually 2 weeks or up to 2 months, depending on the grounds used. If your tenancy started before 15th of January 1989, it is probable that it will still be covered by the old Rents Act, and you should seek further advice on this. If you are not in an assured short hold or assured tenancy, you may be an occupier with basic protection. If, for example, you live in the same building as your landlord but don't share the living accommodation. To end the tenancy, the landlord will have to serve you with a notice and then obtain a court order. The length of the notice depends on how often you pay the rent. For example, weekly, fortweekly or monthly. The notice must also contain certain legal information. If you have a fixed term, at the end of this, there is no need for the landlord to give you notice to apply for a court order.